The Laughing Hippopotamus by L. Frank Baum. On one of the upper branches of the Congo River lived an ancient and aristocratic family of hippopotamuses, which boasted a pedigree dating back and beyond the days of Noah, beyond existence of mankind, far into the dim ages when the world. Not long ago, the queen of this tribe of hippopotamuses had a child which she named Keo, because of its was so fat and round still that you may not be misled. I will say that in the hippopotamus language, Keo, properly translated, means fat and lazy. Instead of fat and round, however, no one called the queen's attention to this error, because her tusks were monstrous long and sharp, and she thought Keo was the sweetest baby in the world. He was indeed all right for a hippopotamus. He rolled and played in a soft mud and riverbank, waddled inland. Therefore the black people who dwelt in the region called him Ippy, the Jolly One, although he dared not come anigh him on account of his fierce mother and his equally fierce uncles and aunts, who lived in the vast colony upon the river bank. And while these black people who lived in the villages scattered among the trees dared not openly attack the royal family of hippopotamuses. They were amazingly fond of eating hippopotamus meat. However, they could get it. This was no secret to the hippopotamus, and again, when the blacks managed to catch these animals alive, they had a trick of riding them through the jungles as if they were horses, thus reducing them to the condition of slavery. Therefore, having these things in mind, whenever the tribe of hippopotamus smelled the oily odor of the black people, they were accustomed to charge upon them furiously. And if by chance they overlooked one of the enemies, they would rip him with their sharp tusks and stamp him into the earth with their huge feet. It was continual warfare between the hippopotamus and the black people. Gui lived in one of the little villages of the blacks. He was the son of the chief's brother and grandson of the village sorcerer, the latter being an aged man known as the Boneless Wonder, because he could twist himself into as many coils as serpents, and had no bones to hinder his bending his flesh into any position. This made him walk into a wobbly fashion, but the black people had great respect for him. Gui's hut was made of branches of trees stuck together with mud, and his clothing consisted of a grass mat tied around his middle. But his relationship to the chief and the sorcerer gave him a certain dignity, and he was much addicted to solitary thought. Perhaps it was natural that these thoughts frequently turned upon his enemies, the hippopotamus, and that he should consider many ways of capturing them. Finally, he completed his plans and set about digging a great pit in the ground, midway between two sharp curves of river. When the pit was finished, he covered it over with small branches of trees and strewed earth upon them, smoothing the surface so artfully that no one would suspect there was a big hole underneath. Then Gui laughed softly to himself and went to supper. The evening, the queen said to Keo, who was growing to be the fine child of his. That evening, the queen said to Keo, who was growing to be fine child of his age. I wish you'd run across the bend and ask your Uncle Nicky to come here. I have found a strange plant and want him to tell me if it's good to eat. The Jolly One laughed heartily as he started upon his errand, for he felt as important as a boy does when he is sent for the first time to the corner grocery store to buy a yeast cake. Guk, 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 guk was the way he laughed.
Guk, 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 guk.
And if you think a hippopotamus does not laugh this way, you have but to listen to one and you will find I am right. He crawled out of the mud where he was wallowing and tramped away through the bushes. And the last his mother heard as she lay half in and half out of the water was his musical guk 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 guk,
Guk, guk, guk, guk.
dying away in the distance. Keo was in such a happy mood that he scarcely noticed where he stepped. So he was much surprised when in the middle of a laugh the ground gave way beneath him, and he fell to the bottom of Gooey's deep pit. He was not badly hurt, but had bumped his nose severely as he went down. So he stopped laughing and began to think how he should get out again. Then he found the walls were higher than his head and he was a prisoner. So he laughed a little at his own misfortune, and the laughter soothed him to sleep, so that he snored all through the night until daylight came. When Gooey peered over the edge of the pit next morning, he exclaimed, "Why, 'tis Ippy, the Jolly One!" Keo recognized the scent of a black man, and he tried to raise his head high enough to bite him, seeing which Gooey spoke in the hippopotamus language which he had learned from his grandfather's sorcerer. "Have peace, little one. You are my captive. Yes, I will have a piece of your leg if I can reach it," retorted Keo. And then he laughed at his own joke. But Gooey, being a thoughtful black man, went away without further talk, and did not return until the following morning, when again he leaned over the pit. Keo was so weak from hunger that he could hardly laugh at all. "Do you give up?" Gooey asked. "Or do you still wish to fight?" "What will happen if I give up?" inquired Keo. "It is hard to say, Ippy. You are too young to work, and if I kill you for food, I shall lose your tusks, which are not yet grown. Why, oh Jolly One, did you fall into a hole? I wanted to catch your mother or one of your uncles." "Guk, guk, 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 guk. Guk, 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 guk," laughed Keo. "You must let me go after all, black man, for I am of no use to you." "That I will not do," declared Gooey, "unless," he added as an afterthought, "he will make a bargain with me." "Let me hear about your bargain, black one, for I am hungry," said Keo. I will let you go if you swear by the tusk of your grandfather that you will return to me in a year and a day and become my prisoner again." The youthful hippopotamus paused to think, for he knew it was a solemn thing to swear by the tusk of his grandfather, but he was exceedingly hungry, and a year and a day seemed a long time off. So he said, "Will another careless laugh? Very well, if you will now let me go. I swear by the tusks of my grandfather to return to you in a year and a day and become your prisoner. Gui was so much pleased, for he knew that in a year and Keo would be almost full grown. So he began digging away one end of the pit, filling it up with the earth, until he had made an incline which would allow the hippopotamus to climb out. Keo was pleased, so pleased, when he found himself upon the surface of the earth again, that he indulged in a merry fit of laughter. After which he said, "Goodbye, Gui. In a year and a day you will see me again." Then he waddled away toward the river to his mother and get his breakfast, and Gui started to return to the village. So Keo was not caught and lived to see another day. They went on their way out into the river where they ate their breakfast and enjoyed their meal.